What makes a good game? Wait, no, fuck that. Any game can be great, it all depends on the person's preferences. But every once in a while, a game comes along that is objectively fucking awesome. That is exactly what Halo Infinite is. Now this review will be broken into 5 sections. The first 2 will be campaign positives and negatives. The second 2 will be multiplayer positives and negatives. And then the final section will be looking at dumb shit about Halo Infinite, like articles and Reddit posts that have been made about it. Now there will all be timestamps down below as well throughout the video, so you can skip to what you want. If anybody out there is wondering if I'm even qualified to make this video, am I enough of a Halo fan, you might ask? Well, let me show you.
Yes! 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 Yes!
You see that shit? I beat the game on easy- wait, no, fuck that. I beat the game on Lasso. Lasso! And 100% of that shit on Legendary. I am qualified to make this damn review. Yes, I'm flexing, and yes, I am sorry. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into the first part of this review. This campaign is the best Halo has been in quite some time. The absolute affront to God that was Halo 5 almost made me lose hope in the franchise. But thankfully, Infinite restored all my faith and made me excited for games to come. The gameplay is really tight and refined. After 20 years of Halo, this franchise is still being innovated on and improved. The most notable of these is the grappling hook, which everybody's talking about, and is the best addition to Halo ever, in my opinion. It also is the best grappling hook I've ever played with, and yes, that does include Titanfall. It's such a joy to use, it makes you wonder why Halo did not have a grappling hook in past games. Besides the grappling hook, the enemy design is masterclass, as expected from Halo, since it has always been at the forefront of AI and enemy design. Now, let's get on to the story. The main enemies this time are no longer the Legion of Simps white knighting for Master Chief's AI girlfriend, but instead, industrial and menacing Banished, a group led by Atriox who broke away from the Covenant after they betrayed him. Now, with the UNSC left destroyed, you must take the role of the Master Chief and save humanity once again. The main villain, Escharum, is more than just your average bad guy who is bad for the sake of being bad. He is trying to fill the void left by Atriox's death and the Banished leadership, and is doing his best to preserve what Atriox has built up. He gives several speeches throughout the game that are not only grand, but also terrifying.
This is my last fight. A true test of legends. Our story will outlive us both. Set a fire in your heart, Spartan. Bare your fangs. Fight hard. Die well.
Truly instilling himself as a meaningful villain that the player should be scared of. Another one of the great villains the player meets is the former Silent Shadow Jaeger or Domni, a truly badass elite who is a former assassin for the Covenant. His fight is not only the best fight in the game, but also a truly terrifying experience when you first play it. I have talked about all the positives in the campaign, which there are many, and while there are fewer negatives, it's still worth mentioning some. The first negative part I want to touch on is the fact that the game is not really a good point to get into the franchise, story-wise that is. Gameplay, it's absolutely the best point to jump in. By that I mean, if you are not already familiar with the story of the previous games, then you'll be very confused during this game. That leads into another one of the negatives, which is the easiness of the game, even on the hardest difficulty. Now, I am a Halo veteran as I've shown, but even so, this game's legendary difficulty did not really pose that much of a challenge to me. Even on Lasso, which I expected to be much harder, it was still very easy in terms of previous Halo games. Lasso should be Halo 2 levels of difficulty because it should be completely unfair. Instead, it was just super underwhelming in terms of difficulty. And the final gripe I have is with the game's lack of mission selection and co-op, which really hurts the game experience overall. Now, guys, I know this has been promised to be added after launch, but its lack of inclusion on release really just hurts the game overall. But those issues are all small in comparison to the main thing that haunts this game. Master Chief's ass is no longer caked up like a bakery. This pisses me off so much. Wait, no, don't go to the next slide. This multiplayer is hands down the best Halo multiplayer of all time. Yes, seethe and cope, classic Halo fans. Halo Infinite does something that every good multiplayer sequel should do, and that is make the previous game's multiplayer completely unplayable. And I want you to go back to like Halo 3 and try to play that. You will feel so slow. It just makes the game so dated. The new maps we received are all fun. My favorite being Live Fire, even though it's a basic map and most people just write it off as being some just really basic experience, I enjoy it a lot. The graphics in this game are fucking amazing, and given a little time, the customization will be the best the series has ever seen, currently held by Halo Reach, which is a masterclass in customization and progression. You can modify so many elements of your Spartan in Halo Infinite that the only thing missing is the cockplate modification, which we both know Joseph Staten, he's gonna add it. He's a really big fan of that feature. Now, nothing more needs to be said about this. It's fucking phenomenal, but it has a lot of issues, and this is where I want to get into the negatives of multiplayer. Now, this game is free to play, and that brings a few downsides. First of all being the monetization system, which is completely outrageous in its prices and predatory in its content, borrowing off a lot of its cool cosmetics behind an egregious price. I am one of the people who bought one of these $20 armor sets, so I understand why people do it. But the fact that I am forced to pay $20 if I want one of my favorite armor sets is completely bullshit. And a little side note here, I want to talk about the Reddit of Halo, the completely outrageous shit that's been going on there. We're going to talk about more of this in the 5th section, but it's just been completely disappointing to see how people have devolved into sending death threats. And I know it's a very small portion of the community, but still, threatening the developers and being so just nitpicky about every little detail. It makes me really disappointed to be part of this community. On that same note, the previous event, Fractured Tenrai, was a complete disaster. And thankfully, 343 have been looking to rectify this by making a new pass, as well as improving past experiences with the event, not making it the same it was, where you can only earn like 7 tiers over the week, which was complete bullshit. The only other complaint I have was the lack of modes, but 343 already resolved this super quick and easy on 343's part. Claps to them. And I gotta say, 343 has done an incredible job at listening to the community. Now it's on to the 5th section, and this section's gonna be a little fun, because we have some stupid-ass articles to talk about, and I love talking about stupid-ass articles. From Kotaku, Dev says Halo is for everyone following a harassment video, but that's never been true. Now, Halo is for everybody, now more than ever, because of things like different Spartan bodies, prosthetics for Spartans, and you can customize however you look. These things are very inclusive to the person's experience. You can be anything you want, and it allows for such a range of possibilities. So yes, Halo is for everybody, but there is a subset of the community that is super against this kind of stuff, which is obviously they're fucking idiots. It's how things work, okay? There's just a small subset, just like the death threats. So yes, but Halo is for everybody. And I don't think the devs were leaving anybody out, especially because how much inclusivity there is in the customization. On to the next one from The Gamer. Yes, there's a news site called The Gamer, and yes, they probably regret their name. Halo Infinite's Winter Contingency event is a letdown. Now, I'm facepalming right now, because Winter Contingency is such a simple and fun event that the reasons they go into are so inane and so nitpicky and stupid that you'd only expect it from a website named The Gamer. So yes, this is a stupid fucking article. For some reason, they hate Winter Contingency, even though it's a very simple event that gives out free shit to you. How to unlock the active Genesis stance in Halo Infinite. Now, you can't. And this article baited me, and that's why it's on this list. I got fucking baited. I got baited hard by this article, because I've been looking to get this stance, and I've done everything, and I still can't get it. So yes, fuck you, gamer journalist. Fuck you in particular. And Polygon, you've done one thing right in your career with this article. Halo Infinite has a new cat helmet, and I love it. Goddamn right, kings. And speaking of the new cat helmet, there's been a few angry posts about the cat helmet, in particular from this guy. When we all wanted a better value cash shop, but instead a lot of us shelled out for price-inflated cat ears. Well done. We sure convinced 343/Microsoft. Now this guy's never touched grass or walked outside in his entire life. I think the amount of bitches he gets is in the negatives. I also think that he's a degenerate who deserves to be burned at the stake. And of course I'm just saying these things as a joke. He does not deserve to be burned for his wrong opinion. Let people do what they they want with their money. And let's read another one, actually. This one's much better. This community went from absolute rage to then giving in and buying cat ears. Everybody hated the price of items. Everybody complained about microtransactions. Present day, everybody supports microtransactions. No, we don't support microtransactions. We only supported this one because it was a wacky item that everybody wanted. Remember those cat ears cost more than food from your local store? Okay, do I need to give a lesson on how buying shit works? So let's just give an example. Let's say there's a bag of chips. You're hungry and you're in the mood for chips. And those price of the chips are $1. And you value your hunger over the price of the chips. You're gonna buy that. The perceived value of the chips are higher than the actual cost of them, and that's why people buy shit. The perceived value of the cat ears are higher than the price of the cat ears, even though the price of the cat ears is a little insane. So let's just keep reading, shall we? Cat ears. Yes, cat ears that now everyone is wearing, and the trend will soon die off when another cosmetic comes into play. For $10. Waiting for more context, but cat ears comes before Forge and fixing custom games and playlists and co-op, right? Well, no, it doesn't. It shouldn't. These things should be fixed or added to the game in co-op's case. Yes, it's disappointing that 343 has not fixed these things. But getting mad at a this is a cosmetic that takes a lot less effort, so much less effort than fixing all of these things or adding these things. So your argument is kind of invalid when you realize that making a fucking pair of cat ears and selling them is so much easier than doing all these things. Yes, they take priority, but 343 already made these cosmetics and they're selling them. Are they a little price inflated? Yes. Don't buy them. Then don't buy them. Just don't. Don't support 343. I have bought some of these things, and I could say that I'm pretty happy with my purchase. Okay, but a sensible Halo fan chimed in. The trick to not giving in to these cute cosmetics is unemployment. Can't buy stuff if you don't have stuff. That's a king. That's a Sigma male right there. And yes, that is true. This whole argument about the cat ears has been so stupid. People are gonna buy what they wanna buy. Don't tell people what to do with their money. And that's kind of like the last thing I wanna look at. Other stuff is just super nitpicky by other Halo fans, and it's not worth getting into. With that, we can move on to the final conclusion of this video. Halo Infinite is a beauty of a game the Halo franchise needed. I am happy to say that 343 pulled a bunny out of their ass and did it. The game is everything I wanted and more, and while it has a few shortcomings, I am intently looking to the future of Halo.